Welcome to Sarah Yoga. I am Sarah, and tonight we have a quick restorative practice. So this is for when you've had a really long day, or maybe you're waking up with no energy, you don't have time for yoga, but you just don't feel pumped and ready to go, or you don't feel satisfied with your day and you're exhausted. So we'll move through a couple of restorative poses here, not super long, but just enough to give you that time to clear out your head and get into your body. So again, wear something comfy, especially for this one. It's restorative. I don't know how many times I have to say it, but all this hoopla about having to have certain specific clothing or brands is ridiculous for yoga, right? Yoga is about feeling good, and I honestly always do yoga in my pajamas. So just a little precursor, it's been crazy here, lots of construction and dust everywhere, so I've had to clean and I feel exhausted myself. So I'm doing this for myself as well, because sometimes we just don't have the time to do a full practice, and to be honest, sometimes I don't have the energy. And this is what I do, something simple. So you will need a mat. I'm going to do this against a couch and put my legs over the couch. You can do everything that I'm doing here against a wall as well. So grab your mat and we're gonna jump right into this. So I'll meet you there, get all your stuff, and we'll get started. Okay, so we're going to start in our legs up and over the couch, but we're going to use our mat, and we're actually going to keep it rolled up. So I have a thicker mat. You might have like a typical yoga mat, and it might not be as thick, which is just as well. If you do have a thicker mat and it's too much, you can always unroll it a little bit so you have a little bit of a thinner roll. But what we'll do with this guy is we'll bring the mat rolled up towards the couch, and we're actually going to come and sit up on it. If I do this correctly. So this is like a good replacement for a bolster pillow, but it's a little bit more solid than a pillow or a bolster. It's pretty dense and compact, so you get a different version of this inclined legs up the wall variation, Vipariti Karani. So once you get up there, that rolled bolster is right underneath your tailbone. It's kind of like a supported Setu Bandha or bridge pose, but we're taking our feet off the ground and bringing them up onto the couch or maybe up the wall. And we'll give ourselves a moment here to roll the shoulder blades underneath, lengthen out through the back of the head, make sure you're even from left to right. And this is just a great decompressing pose for not only the low back, the lumbar spine, and the legs, and even your upper spine here, but also for the mind. Sending fresh blood flow back to the brain from the knees and the legs down, so it travels through the belly, the digestive tract. And so take your time here and maybe begin by simply noticing your breath. And again, you don't have to change anything. You don't have to fix anything. You don't have to make your breath sound or be a specific length or duration. You do not have to stay completely still. Right? If you have this urge to move, you give yourself permission to do whatever you need to do. So it's always a constant reminder to, when you're feeling tired or exhausted, to support your body. Take even just a brief few moments to feel that support, the ground, really leaning into all these points of contact that you're making with the ground, with your mat under the pelvis. And you might slowly here begin to notice your exhales. And allow yourself to linger in those exhales. If you like, you can maybe add a second or two onto the bottom. See if there's anything there left to release at the bottom of the exhale. Is letting this pose be absorbed by the body, letting it sink in. You might notice the inner palms, the inner wrists, the inner arms. And then slowly come back to your breath here if you drifted off somewhere. Any of these poses you can stay in longer. If you're ready here, we're going to start to come out of this one. And to come out of it, you'll bend your knees and push into the couch and slide that mat out of the way. And we'll come right up onto our side and peel up. And we're going to continue to use this mat, but now we're going to use it underneath the upper spine. So we'll move it a little bit away from the couch. So it lands, the bottom edge lands right at the bottom edge, or a little bit up from the bottom edge of your ribs to get a nice opening through the heart center and the shoulder blades. And so we'll start here by coming down here and playing with finding that right alignment. And you can play, you can move this down a little bit further, you can move it up a little bit further. It just kind of depends on how you feel. See, that's a little bit too low for me, so I'm gonna scooch it up so it's more towards the shoulder blades. And so for this one, instead of swinging the legs over the couch, we're gonna take the bottoms of the feet together. And lean the outer edges of the feet into the couch. If this is too much, you can take your feet up higher, right? Making that diamond shape. And if you can, use your fingertips to peel the knees away. I like to kind of just let gravity pull on the feet until I drop down. And this, you might feel, of course, is a heart opener. We're hitting all these major spots on the spine today. And we won't be in this one for as long, so to the best of your ability, close your eyes. Come back to that easy ebb and flow of the breath. You're welcome to continue working with those extended exhales to bring you back into the moment, back into your actual breath that is happening right now. You might notice if there's any tension in the jaw, the back of the throat. And so we're using this brief time that we have together as an observation, really, of your own body. What are these continuous thoughts that keep making their way back through the mind? You don't have to get rid of them, but maybe taking a step back and observing what they are, what their effect might be on the physical body. It's all helpful information that you can gather here in these restorative practices and poses. And I think the thing to remember, and one of the good things, is that even though you're acquiring this information, you don't have to do anything with it. Right? There's no obligation. Just kind of reveling in the observating state alone. And so again, you might stay here for a little bit longer. When you're ready, you might come out. And we're going to end here. So take a moment to just roll yourself off that mat. And we'll take the mat now, and you can stay on your back. But we're going to unroll it about halfway. And then we're going to slide that roll, the half roll, underneath the nape of the neck. So now we have just a little support. And you want it positioned in a way that it tilts your chin down towards the chest just a little bit. So you get this length in the cervical spine and the back of the neck. And we'll simply end here. So just 3 poses, maybe just enough time to take your mind off of some of that other stuff, or to allow you to come back into your own body. And that's really always the goal. Just to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. And so for this last pose, I will leave you at your own discretion. And if you're kind of the type of person that as soon as the video is over, you're up and moving and ready to go, you might just sort of challenge yourself and see if you can stay here for a moment longer. Really enjoy this time you have with yourself in stillness, maybe quiet, whatever you might observe. So I will leave you here today. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next time on XSarah Yoga. Namaste.